and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallant
Welcome, race fans, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf Cup Series here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You are here for the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250 live on Off-Road Broadcasting. Joining me in the booth here is a famous talent on iRacing, my good friend Andy Kessler. How you doing tonight, Andy?
I'm doing fantastic, Robert. Thanks for having me up here, and looking forward to a great race. It's been a good season so far. Obviously, these guys in the Cup Series only get to do this every other week, splitting time with the Xfinity Series. So it's a lot of fun when we get to come to the track with these Cup cars, get the top, the best of the best when it comes to the Domino's drivers, and we get to see them in action here, especially at Charlotte Motor Speedway, one of the best tracks on the service as well. A lot of grip here at nighttime, and this is the racing hub of the Northeast, of the United States to be exact. So it should be a lot of fun here tonight.
Yes, Andy, you've raced this track many times. You've covered many races at this track at night. As the guys get out there and get their qualifying laps in, what are you expecting from this track and these really fast, talented drivers as far as they get going here in qualifying? Who you think was going to have some of the top speeds in qualifying?
There's a lot of guys, honestly, Robert, up here in this field here tonight. You know, Mitchell Reeves showing some good time in practice, pretty fast so far in the qualifying effort as well. But Mark Jackson, he's been fast. He just hasn't quite broken in through and get that win. There's a lot of guys out there. William Davis just came off a big win not too long ago. So, a lot of guys, even you look up and down the board, and, you can't forget guys like James Ross, who's been pretty good in the trucks this season. You got to look at Dave Washington, too, as well, when you come to any race, really, with a Cup car. It's going to take a lot for these guys. The car's pretty tight from what I understand from some of these guys, so especially as the run gets longer. So it's going to be really, I think, a good test for all these drivers, how to conserve their tires and how to be there at the end and on the long run.
Yes, sir, Andy. Thank you for that. I am expecting a very exciting race tonight. These guys have all raced, you could almost argue, hundreds, if not thousands of laps here at Charlotte. They've raced at night. They've raced in daytime conditions. They might not have raced around the exact talent field that we have put together here in the Domino's TYG Racing Series, here for the Top Shelf Cup Series. So that's going to be the X factor. Which one of these guys will learn how to race around each other, who they might not have raced around much, and learn to pass them, to give them some room, going 2 wide, 3 wide sometimes into the corner, to keep their car together. We have 0 fast repairs here. You race what you got, you get damage. The best your crew can get it fixed, you get back out there. But obviously, whoever's going to win this race is going to have 0 damage in the car, most likely. Don't you agree, Andy?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you come to a track like this, the downforce is very important. You got to keep those fenders clean. They have to be clean. You're not going to get that speed down the straightaways. That's going to propel you up and maybe allow you to get those passes done on some of these guys. So, absolutely, track position is going to be key too. But we got to remember, this is a long race, crown jewel event here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So 167 laps of 250 miles. There's tons and tons of time for these drivers to get things done. They can't, they can't get discouraged over something that happens early on in the race. A little bit of scrape, a little bit of damage, maybe sent to the back, have to spend a little bit of time on pit road early. That's fine. You got plenty of time in this one here tonight to get back up there and salvage out a decent finish.
Yeah, thank you there, Andy. I want to bring the booth real quick. James Ross, he is the owner of our sponsor tonight, POWERTEK Power Solutions. James, how you doing tonight? Got a copy, James?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Robert. Sorry about that. We had a little problem with the radio here in the car, but I'm here now.
Yes, sir. Give us a real quick 1-minute summation of what POWERTEK Power Solutions does.
Well, basically, we are a generator service company. We do all kinds of emergency power solutions, whether it be residential, commercial, industrial, mobile, marine, job site generators. And we offer full service, sales, installations. We service Westchester and Putnam County in New York and Fairfield County in Connecticut.
Hey, I appreciate it, James. You had a disappointing run last night in the Denton Fender no points for fun race. Hopefully, we'll talk to you later tonight in a victory circle, or at least in the top 3. Good luck tonight, James.
Thank you, Robert.
All right, Andy, if you'll go over the starting grid for us real quick, I think the guys are pretty much finished qualifying.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Qualifying has come and gone. 5 minutes, 2 laps has been all said and done for these drivers here. Now we'll get look trackside now for tonight's starting lineup. And how about it? On the pole in his first start of the season here in the Domino's TYJ Top Shelf Cup Series, it's Daniel Roper in the number 41, and he'll lead them off with the first and only driver in a sub 27. He'll have a 26.999 to get us going here on the pole. Caleb Eisenhower, great start for him. He'll be upside on the outside of the front row. And row number 2, you're going to see Damon Gilbert to the inside in that number 68 machine. Dave Washington in the number 98 will start on the 4th spot. Rounding out the top 5 here tonight will be the 014 of Jeff Martin. 6th tonight, that's going to be the 003 of Kyle Charpentier. He's going to start in that outside of row number 3. Scott Simley inside of row number 4 in the 67, while Mitchell Reeves will round out the top 8. Nick Reynolds in that number 10 machine will start in the 9th spot. 10th, that goes to the 51 of Ryan Matthews. Josh Bonwell, typically see him qualify up towards the front of the field. He was 6th fastest in the practice. He's going to roll off from the 11th spot outside of row number 6. It's going to be the 42 of Tanner Tallarico. Jesse Abrams in the 97 will start 13th. 14th goes to William Roberts Jr., while Brian Cutts will round out your top 15 starters. 16th, it's going to be Curtis Young in the 94. Kind of a slow start for him here in this one here. Plenty of time to get back up through the field. Row number 9, it's going to be the 17 of Gary Sexton in the number 17 in the starting 17th spot. Maybe a good omen for that driver here tonight. Mark Jackson in the number 3. He's going to start 18th. 19th goes to the 193 of Scott Sanderson, while Cody Griffin will be on the outside of row number 10 in 20th. As the field starts to roll on here, we got Jeffrey Ford going to start in that 21st spot. Last car to take time in qualifying here, 22nd starter. That's going to be the 71 of Wesley Whitfield. Colin Bowden will start 23rd here tonight. Jason Jacoby will start just to his outside in 24. 25th goes to Ryan Hill. Buzz Moore in the 26th starting spot. We got Kyle Kramer, Brandon Cruz Monsavice in 28th. 29th to William Davis. James Ross, no qualifying time for the driver of that PowerTek Power Solutions Chevrolet. He'll start 30th here tonight. Jack Watts, 31st. Tim B. Cox will start in that 32nd spot, while Andrew Bradenberg will start 33rd. 34th goes to Gerald Campbell. Ellery Queen will start in that 35th spot, and rounding out this 36 car field will be that 73 machine of Jeremy Crandall. So we got a long way to go here tonight. 167 laps. I want to welcome everybody tuning in here tonight to the PowerTek Power Solutions 250 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway as we get set to start this 167 lap race. Tons of time for all these drivers, especially the ones down towards the back of the field, to get up to the front. Pace car is off and we are ready and set to go. Daniel Roper will get the green flag and no time wasted at all on the loud pedal, and he's off and running. Single file now, the first 2 as they head off into turn number 1. Looks like the 68 machine of Damon Gilbert will get single file, as well as Dave Washington. As the first side-by-side battle we got going on now is for 5th off turn 2.
Yes, sir, and that looks to be between Jeff T. Martin in the 014 and Mitchell Reeves in the 02. Those are teammates, I think. They're going to race each other hard. They're going to race each other clean, especially early going here in this race. Like you said, Andy, we do have 167 laps. These laps are going to go by fast, and these cars are definitely picking up the speed. They look like 203 miles an hour going into turn 1.
Oh, that's absolutely awesome to see. That's a product of the colder temperatures, the nightfall here on the racetrack, and these guys, you'll see some speeds like that all night long. You'll even see them get faster probably as the night goes on as well too, and they get a little bit braver as well too. Single file though all throughout the top 10 now as we come across a complete lap number 2 now on the circuit. No changes up front now. Daniel Roper still continues to lead this one, while the number 9 of Caleb Eisenhower sits there in that 2nd spot. No real battles going on inside the top 10 right now currently so far, Robert. Everybody kind of minding their P's and Q's, running single file. First side-by-side battle we got going on. It's a little deeper in the field there. Jason Jacoby is around that 20th spot there and trying to make his way around the 48 of Cody Griffin. We'll continue that battle now through 3 and 4.
Yes, it looks like he started a little bit further deep in the field in 18th position. Jason has picked up a couple of spots. He is driving that Domino's sponsored machine. Jason is one of our drivers who actually works at a Domino's Pizza locally where he lives. We're happy to have him in our series. He's a great representative of what we're doing here, and it's good to see him moving up early. Of course, Andy, the secret to this race is make a pass when you can. When you cannot make it, back out and save your car for later.
Absolutely, be patient. That's what we just saw right there on the one of Jason Jacoby there. Had a chance. He could probably made it 3 wide there coming off of turn number 4. Chose wisely, though, backed off of it, followed the 193 of Scott Sanderson through. Now looks to the inside now. That's going to be 2 spots in a matter of half a lap there for Jason Jacoby. That's a man on the mission here after starting in that 24th spot here tonight. So already on the move and already trying to make his way up into the top 15. He's got a little bit of ground to make up as those guys now settle things out. We'll continue that battle and that fight now in the single file mode. Up front though, how about this, Robert? 7 drivers, nose to tail, nobody really making that move to try to make a pass. They're all just kind of riding up, and just as I say that, here comes the 98 now, Dave Washington to the inside of the 68 of Gilbert.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, Andy, from what I can tell already in just the first 6 laps of this race, these drivers are going to try to manage their tire wear. All these drivers are pretty well talented, evenly. They're going to know that to make a move, you're going to have to either have better equipment, better tires, or better pit strategy. So early on, it does not surprise me to see the 98 of Dave Washington falling back in line behind the 68 of Damon Gilbert. He tried to make the move, was not able to accomplish it. He's going to wait for a few more laps to maybe wait for Damon to make a mistake. But these guys in the top 10, they're not going to make many mistakes. So more than likely, these guys are going to be running nose to tail here. And the guy who can manage his tire wear the best, in my opinion, Andy, that's the driver we didn't have a here.
Contact. Looks like the 003 of Kyle Sharping got into the back of the 98 of Dave Washington in the turn number 1. A little bit of contact, a little bit of damage to that right front machine and to the left rear of the 98. Dave Washington right there. So just some slight contact going into turn number 1. Maybe a misjudge of calculation of how close or the closing rate there. Different braking points or let-off points for those drivers there, but just slight contact there, and we'll have our first caution of the night on lap 8.
Yes, sir, Andy. And unfortunately, that was just a tad, just a slight bit of contact there from the 003 of Kyle Charpentier into the 98. But what happened behind them was an unbelievably big wreck. It looks like on my screen we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 of some of our best drivers taken out here. That is unfortunate. These guys will get down pit road, hopefully get some repairs made, and that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks like the 10's involved. It looks like the 12 of William Roberts Jr. involved. Josh Bonwell in the 56 involved. So, yeah, that slight little contact up front, and it causes mayhem in the back. And, you know, part of that just how close these guys are racing to each other. I mean, there's nowhere to go when stuff like that starts to happen. There's absolutely nowhere you can go. Looks like the 97 with some damage as well, too. So not what Jesse Abrams wanted to, as he's down on pit road now trying to get some of that fixed. But, however, while that's all going on, the leader's on down pit road here. We're only just under 10 laps into this thing, but they're already going to head down for the first round of service.
Yes, sir, Andy. If you will cover the guys on pit road, and if they're taking 2 tires, it is early in the race. Maybe some guys will do that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that as of yet. Looks like everyone's going to be playing the safe card right now here. It's the 41 of Daniel Roper. First on, first off, 4 tires and fuel for him. Caleb Eisenhower, 4 tires as well. And they'll come off of pit road just as they came on in that 1-2 position there. Damon Gilbert will come out in the 3rd spot. Looks like a little bit of damage repair for the 003 for Kyle Charpentier, so he'll come out a little bit slower than that. But it looks like some ground has been made up by the 20 machine of Colin Bowden, and he's going to be, looks like a lot of spots here. We'll have to see when everything updates itself here, but it looks like he's going to make up a few spots here after starting 23rd here tonight and coming out on maybe possibly a 2-tire stop for that driver on pit road here early in this one, and that might have given him some of the track position that he had not had at the beginning of this race.
I tell you what, I was just mentioning that pit strategy is going to come into play early in this race. It's going to come into play in the middle of the race, and it's definitely going to come into play at the end of this race. These guys are all fast. We got some really fast weather conditions, like you already stated, Andy. So these cars are going to be screaming around the track. It's going to be a matter of, like I said, strategy. You got to have a great crew chief calling your pit calls. Your pit crew cannot make any mistakes on pit road. Obviously, you can't make any mistakes on the track as a driver. And then I think one other element's going to come in tonight is definitely going to be luck. The big old factor of luck is going to be a lot of to determine who wins this race.
Oh, I take luck over skill any day. When you have this many drivers, this many factors, 167 laps, there's just so much that could go wrong. If you don't have any sort of little bit of luck, it could be something as small as catching the caution at the right time. It could be, just something so minuscule, missing a wreck by an inch, just something that's going to give you that little bit of extra advantage in luck, and luck definitely plays into racing. You got to have that. If you don't have that, then you wouldn't have any luck at all. So we'll see what these guys can do and what they hope to accomplish here. As we see a couple of the drivers after pit stops. Curtis Young up there, up towards the front as well. If they're starting 16th, looks like he's going to restart 5th here in this one. So a couple of these guys already moving forward pretty quickly here. Buzz Moore in the 11, another one to show that started 26th on the board. Currently in the 8th spot. Gerald Campbell as well. How about him and Tim Cox? 34th, 32nd starting respectively. They're 9th and 10th here for this first restart of the night.
Yes, sir, Andy. Real quick, before we go back green here, I do want to mention to the fans, thank you so much for watching. We got a big crowd here watching the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250 live on All Pro Broadcast. We want to mention all of you fans to make sure you click the subscribe button there as you're watching. That way you get the alerts when the races come up on Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night at 8:50. You will never miss your chance to win the free large Domino's 3-topping pizza, carry-out only. I will be going over those details in just a few moments. Most of you fans already are very familiar with it. Make sure you get a pick in before halfway tonight, which, if I'm doing my math right tonight, halfway of 167 is going to be about 100 and, not 100. It's going to be about 68 laps. I'm probably messing that up real quick.
About 83.
83, there we go. Andy, I'm going to let you take the restart here.
Pace car will milk to the safety of pit road. And just like the first time, a good jump by Daniel Roper. But how about the 9 on the outside? Caleb Eisenhower catching that one pretty quick. And the top 2 are actually going to separate themselves from the rest of the field by about 4 car lengths now before they head to turn number 1. Top 2 guys, great restart right there. Good one, too, as well for Damon Gilbert. He'll get that 3rd spot as the top 5 now single file. Got to go a little further back for a first side-by-side action. It's the 17, the 11. That's short-lived. Buzz Moore takes that spot. He'll get around Gary Sexton before they enter turn number 3. As we got a little battle behind them as well, too. How about up front? Colin Bowden looking to the inside. He's got Scott Sanderson on his outside right now, and those two will still battle wheel-to-wheel now back into 1.
Yes, sir, Andy. Colin Bowden, that number 20 machine. He's having a great race. He was right beside that 193, the hashtag tool bag, Chevy SS. College humor looked like of Scott Sanderson. It looks like he is going to be able to complete that pass, maybe. Although it looks like Colin Bowden's fighting back on the inside here. Colin is driving that DBR number 20 Chevy SS. These guys are going to probably let each other get by here. Although I'm not sure. It looks like Colin's fighting back on the inside. But early in this race, this is a great battle up front.
Yeah, it is a great battle. That outside lane does lend to... usually let that guy get around you, because the problem is on that high side they keep that momentum up and they really get a great run coming off of the corner. So we saw it right there with the 193 of Sanderson, able to hold on to that 4th position there. Keeps Colin Bowden just behind him now and actually separate themselves by a couple of car lengths now back into turn number 1. Love the paint scheme on the 193. Of course, if you missed a couple weeks ago at Richmond, that's why he's got that paint scheme. We'll leave it at that, just as that. But that's just some cleverness right there out of the driver of the 193, Scott Sanderson. Glad to see him back here this week as well, too. I like the 19 right now. Tim Cox started 32nd. He's putting some pressure on right now to Gerald Campbell. He's right on that back bumper now, heading back into 1.
Yes, sir. We've got all kind of drivers battling around this track. Like I said before, this is a long race here, Andy, 167 laps. I'm looking right now at the Gary Sexton machine. He's in that number 17 Toyota Camry. He's running in 11th position. Looks like he started in 17th. He's moved up quite a bit. And if I'm not wrong, he's driving that Star Wars Toyota Camry. It's a great-looking paint job on the hood of that car.
Yeah, he has done a great job here early on. He's lost a couple spots from the start of this, or from this restart, I should say. He's dropped back below. Ryan Hills was able to get around him, Buzz Moore, and the likes of those drivers too. A couple side-by-side battles just ahead of the 17 of Gary Sexton. You got the 25 now, Jared Campbell, he's locked in now with the Buzz Moore now side by side off 4, along with the 19 of Tim Cox we just mentioned, and Ryan Hill now to the inside. And those drivers, that's a pretty good battle going on right now. Those 4 spots all up for grabs now. Bottom side, it prevails on the entrance, but you'll see the 11, come off of turn number 2. He gets the run. You've got to keep that 25 to the bottom. And this is where they start wearing tires off. The longer you stay side by side like this, that guy in that bottom ends up burning that right front tire off pretty quickly. So if you're Gerald Campbell, you want to either get ahead of him quickly or just let him go at this point, especially this early in the run after we had pit stops on lap 10.
Yes, sir, and right in front of them, we do have our good buddy Curtis Young in the number 94. He's making a move on the inside. It looks like going down the backstretch of Colin Bowden. Looks like Curtis has moved from 16th all the way up to 6th. Like we mentioned before, luck is a big factor in this race, as it is all races. Curtis has been caught up in a lot of bad luck early this year. He had a great run last night in our no-point truck race at Five Flags. It looks like we have a caution now. I'll let you cover that.
Yeah, there's a caution. It's actually the 56, it looks like, of Josh Bonwell off of turn number 4, getting in a little bit of trouble. We just saw him come off of pit road, and not sure if there's the damage that was on that car just did not allow him to keep going here. It looks like maybe, oh, nope, he blew his engine is what it was, and he tried to slow down to get back on the pit road there, Robert, and he actually clipped the inside wall there and spun him around. So a bad night has just gotten worse for Josh Bonwell right there, and blown engine, and that means a long, long night on pit road.
Yes, fortunately, the 56, Josh Bonwell, is a very, very talented driver. He's run up front many, many times in all of our races. The engine did blow early. That is unfortunate. I don't know if he had too much tape on the grill there here at Charlotte. But yes, he was able to keep it down below the racing groove. No other cars were collected on. And on that note, we're going to take our first commercial break. Again, fans, you're watching the PowerTek Power Solutions 250 live on All Pro Broadcasting. We'll be right back. Give you all the details on how you can win your free large, free topping Domino's pizza. We'll be right back, fans.
Did your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, old man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on, automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac, and never feel powerless.
Hey, this is Garrett Smithley, driver the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf Cup Series race here at Charlotte, North Carolina. We are right down the road from Charlotte and Concord, where this fabulous 1.5-mile paved oval high bank track is located, Andy. We are here for the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250. POWERTEK Power Solutions, they are out of Ridgefield, Connecticut. It is your one-stop shop for all emergency power needs. They're serving Fairfield County and Westchester County, Connecticut, as well as Putnam County, New York. Andy, what did you see on those pit stops?
Well, it's pretty much typical from the guys up front. 4 tires, fuel, nothing really major there. Not much has changed up there as well either. Daniel Roper went in that first spot, so did Caleb came in second, and they exited the pit road the same as well that time. So not much changed down there. Not many guys took a gamble, I should say, here early on. We're still just 25 laps into this one. Pace car off, and how about the jump on the outside by the 9 of Caleb Eisenhower? He timed that just right. He won't get the lead, though, as Daniel Roper able to shift through the gears that much quicker there. He'll get that spot. He'll drop that 9 machine now back into second. Side-by-side battle, though, going for that 4th spot now. You got Colin Bowden to the inside of Sanderson. It's a pretty good battle going. Sanderson was outside of row number 2 there. The 68 of Damon Gilbert was able to get that spot rather easily here. Sanderson, though, he's going to battle hard on the outside. Keeps that momentum up. He'll clear him now off of turn number 4. Single file now through the top 10.
Yes, sir. And that leads Buzz Moore in that number 11 Budweiser up into the 6th position. He's having a great run tonight. Looks like Curtis Shearing in that number 94 Dive Bomb Motorsports is up to the 7th position. Looks like Ryan A. Hill in that number 55 is up to the 8th position here. What's it look like up front?
Looking a little slow there off of the corner through 3 and 4 there for the number 11 of Buzz Moore. He's going to lose a couple of spots there. Ryan Hill, Curtis Young able to get around him right there. We got a swap for 3rd up ahead too, as Sanderson was able to get around the 68 of Damon Gilbert. So a lot happening right there within a couple of corners, but everybody trying to get what they can, make the passes when they can make them, and get those spots, especially early on on a run like this with those fresh tires. That's when you really want to take advantage of it. Try to get as many spots as you possibly can, but you got to do it smartly. You can't force the way through there, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Everybody pretty much doing it textbook passing right now. We're seeing right now up towards the front of the field here as Daniel Roper continues to lead this thing. He's led all the way since the start of this one here, so we get set to complete lap number 29 this time by. Worked their way through 3 and 4. The 9 car, good run there through 3 and 4. He's going to close right up to the back. I was just going to say Roper had a 2-3 car length lead. Not anymore. On the back bumper goes the 9 of Caleb Eisenhower. He wants to lead.
Yes, he sure does, and so does the 193 of Scott Sanderson. He made his way around the 68 to get Damon Gilbert. I saw him taking the high line around there, and he's going to put on some pressure here on the leaders here. We're going to take this quick opportunity to tell the fans, who we are very appreciative of, we do appreciate you watching tonight, how you can win the free large 3-topping pizza from Domino's. It's very simple, fans. All you have to do is text 919-883-7497. If you're watching this on your device, you can also comment in the text chat or the chat. Pick your winner before halfway, which Andy, I think you told me was lap 82. Is that correct?
Yeah, 83. We'll go with 83.
Yeah, let's go with 83 just to give everybody one more lap. Make sure you get your pick in. It doesn't matter who you pick. Make sure you get your pick in before halfway. You will win a free large 3-topping Domino's pizza, carry-out only, from any store in the United States of America. And we've given away about 24 of these now, including last night. We do it every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday night. That's why, fans, you want to make sure you're watching the All Pro Broadcasting channel. You want to click subscribe. Help us get up to 1,000 subscribers. That way you get the notification every single Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night. You don't even have to think about it. Your phone will go off, your tablet will go off, your computer will go off. You'll know to tune in and make sure you're watching. Not only will you have a chance to win that large 3-topping pizza, but you'll also get some really great entertainment that you're not going to find anywhere else here but on All Pro Broadcasting.
You know, I have yet to win one of those. I don't know if I'm just picking the wrong drivers or what, Robert, but maybe I'm not eligible. Either way, it is what it is. We had some problems with Colin Bowden that last lap ago. Saw him peel off in turn number 3 down onto the apron, came down pit road. He's in his pit box. Not sure exactly what happened. Maybe some technical issues there for the driver of number 20. Running in the top 5. Had to come down pit road. Finds himself now a couple laps down on the pit lane. So, one down, but it leaves a lot of guys up towards the front of the field. I like this battle we got going on for the lead. Daniel Roper, Caleb Eisenhower, and Scott Sanderson. Good to see him rebound after a dominating performance that didn't end up in a win last 2 weeks ago, I should say, at the Richmond International Speedway. So, with that said, he's back, new paint scheme, and he's up front, running some fast lap times right now, and hanging up there with those top 2 guys so far here in this one, and really putting on the show is the number 9 in the 41, Daniel Roper. He's led every single lap so far here tonight, Robert. This is just, he's doing a really good job for his first start in Domino's.
Yes, sir, Andy. I'm going to go through the field now. We're going to cover the top 10, maybe 15 drivers. It's looking great here at Green Flag Racing. We do have, like you said, Daniel Roper. He's in that number 41 Chevy SS. It looks like it's the DraconTech.com, if I'm messing that up. Graphic design, 41 Chevy SS. DRC, he's having a great run so far tonight. Second place, we do have the Target Toyota Camry, number 9, Need for Speed Motorsports of Caleb Eisenhower. Both of these guys were new to our series. They both passed qualifying races, and they are signed up and doing a great job tonight. Third place, we have College Humor, the 193 of Scott Sanderson. You mentioned his paint job earlier. He's having a great run up in third position. We got Damon Gilbert in that number 68 Chevy SS. He's always a threat in any kind of 1.5-mile, 2-mile track. I tell you what, I talked to Damon just the other day. He's already got a victory in our Domino's TYJ Top Shelf Series. He's looking to learn something tonight and maybe get his second win. In fifth position, we have Ryan A. Hill. He's already got a win. He's in that Phantom Armament DBR sponsor, number 55 Chevy SS. He's having another great run as well up in fifth position. He's always a threat. Every track we go to, I tell you what, when we get to the road courses, you better look out for Ryan A. Hill. He's already won the race there earlier in the season, and he'll definitely be a big threat when we get to the road courses soon. Sixth position, we have the 94 of Curtis Young. He is the 2016 Domino's TYJ Racing Denny Fender Truck Champion. He is putting on the show here tonight, racing in that Dive Bomb Motorsports. Number 94 Ford, he's up to 6th and putting some serious heat on the 55 of Ryan Hill. 7th, we have Town Talrico. He's in that number 42 Chevy S. He's having a great run tonight as well. He's up into the 7th position. In 8th, we have 10B Cox in that NVIDIA number 19 Chevy SS. He's part of the Cross Continent Racing Team. We got about 3 or 4 drivers here tonight. These guys do a great job. They are preparing for battle. They have all prepared tonight, and he's up to the 8th position, 10B Cox is. And then we have Kyle Charpentier. He's part of the Apex Racing Academy 003 Ford Fusion. He's up to the 9th place. And running at your top 10, we have David Washington. He is sponsored by All Pro Broadcasting. He's in that Chef Andy's Ford Fusion. He has a little bit left rear damage from that earlier contact, but I tell you what, Andy, David has definitely rebounded very well with that damage. He's up to 10th place.
Yeah, it's a good rebound for him. It doesn't look like he's got that straightaway speed he needs, though, to get up there and maybe contend for a win here tonight, but a solid run right now in the top 10, hanging on to it right now with Kyle Kramer just behind him, about a half a second behind him. So, yeah, definitely a great recovery after that contact early on. A battle going on just ahead of them right now. Tim Cox on the outside. Charpenter's tried to get that spot, looked to the inside, wasn't going to happen. That momentum on the outside allowed Tim to hold on to that 8th spot right now as those drivers continue to try to get something going here to try to catch up to those top 7, because those guys have pretty much checked out right now with the rest of the field here, especially Daniel Roper and the likes of the 9 of Caleb Eisenhower. As Daniel Roper has really pulled out a lead now, over a second over the second place driver here. So the long green flag run showing that the 41's got some speed both in the short run and on the long run.
Yes, sir. I just noticed Colin Bowden, that number 20 DBR machine. You did mention he came down pit road earlier. Whether he had technical issues or whatever, he got 4 brand new Goodyear Eagles. And I'll tell you what, Andy, he is passing drivers like they are almost standing still. He is a lap or 2 down, but he is definitely putting on a clinic with the new tires. He's running that high line, extremely high line. He's keeping it out of the wall, and he's passing people like they're almost sitting still. Yeah, running the Kyle Larson line there up against the wall there. A tricky thing to do nonetheless, but he's doing a great job with that. But yeah, he sits 5 laps down, currently shown
in that 24th spot. So he's got a lot of time left in this. We talked about how long this race is tonight here, 167 laps, 250 miles. He's got a lot of time, a couple more cautions, could get him a chance for some waiver rounds, get himself back to that lead lap status, which is ultimately what he wants to get, and hopefully try to pick off some spots before this thing's over. Just ahead of him, though, as he catches these guys pretty quickly with those fresh tires. You see that 42 of Tanner Tellerico now getting around Curtis Young, who has moved up to the high side now. But how about the extreme high side from the 20 of Colin Bowden? That just shows you how important tires are here. There's no damage on that 20. The technical issues he had, it came down pit road. You can see the difference of the fresh tires, and that's what makes pit stops and strategy and taking 4 on when you have an opportunity under a caution as opposed to the 2 tires. It's really going to help you, and it's really going to at least keep you in contention with these rest of these drivers here. But you can see just how quickly those 4 tires are working out right now for that 20 as he just continues to mow them down. Of course, still a few laps down right now. He's pulled up on the back bumper, though, of that 193 machine now of Scott Sanderson, who's in that 3rd spot. He gives him that high side. Colin Bowden to make a little work of that, too. He's going to get one of these laps back the hard way here as he's racing as fast as he's going right now, Robert. He's going to get right up there and possibly get one of these back when he gets around Daniel Roper.
Yes, sir. You just mentioned the number 42 of Tanner Tellerico. He's making a move on the inside, looks like, of the 55 of Ryan A. Hill. Hopefully he'll be able to make that pass complete. We're going to do a real quick Domino's driver profile for Tanner Tellerico. He's in that number 42. Check this out, gentlemen. We are racing in Charlotte, North Carolina, outside, right down the road in Concord. Tanner is from Charlotte, Michigan. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. He is part of the Eliff Brothers Roofing Unleashed Racing. That's his team. Part of his sponsors are Boardwalk Subs, EBR Roofing, and Fox Racing Products. He's got the Fox all over the hood of his car, his Chevy SS tonight. He is a 2-time USAC Midget Champion in Michigan. Also, Tanner is a 2016 Super Stock Champion. He has done a lot of part-time racing as well. So Tanner has got some serious real-world racing experience, as well as been a very, very good iRacing driver himself. Up to 4th position now.
Yeah, and it's showing on the racetrack, too. These first early laps, taking care of his stuff. Now it's really showing. Just got around the 94 there. Curtis Young got around Ryan Hill. Now he's trying to work his way around Sanderson here in 3 and 4 to the inside. Not going to happen just quite yet, but definitely a lot of speed in that 42 machine right now. And I think it's all about saving tires. He had to check up a little bit there coming off turn number 4. That'll surrender one of those positions back to Ryan Hill, but the way he's running right now on that bottom side, I don't think it'll be too long, and we'll see him back up there challenging for these 2 positions here. How about Daniel Roper, though? Gosh, Robert, 2.5 second gap now he's got over the 2nd place running Caleb Eisenhower. This long green flag run proven to be exactly what the 41 needed, but he's got to look at his rearview mirror now because the 20 starting to come up, trying to get one of those laps back now. He's caught him from a long way back here, using that high line, just the extreme high line. We see some of these drivers using about a lane or 2 above the white line, but not the 20. Colin Bowden, he's using that whole high side there and just going. It's just unbelievable trying to keep it off the wall like that. Almost running it as if we were at Kansas, where you have to run that high line.
Yes, sir, Andy, and I did hear pit stops. Green flag pit stops have begun. We have the 003 of Kyle Charpentier on pit road. So, Andy, this begs the question, when will these lead lap cars come down to get fresh rubber? We've had a very long green flag run here, and we all know the sooner you come down pit road, get your fresh rubber. Sometimes people call it short pitting. You get a great big advantage. However, it can bite you if the caution comes out. What are you thinking, Andy?
It's a tough call because, one of them things, I think the guys can go about 40 to 45 laps on a full tank of fuel. So, but the problem is the tires start to go away. You can see how much the fresh tires help the drivers as you see the 20 just literally just walking away from Daniel Roper right now. So, it's one of them things. It's a fine line. You don't want to go to 40 or 45 laps. You do not want to run the tank dry. But at the same time, you don't want to short pit too soon. If you short pit too soon, it could ultimately, at the end of the race, really be, causing you to make an extra stop. And, of course, we know how long that could take. Not only the 15 seconds, but you're almost a minute and a half by the time you slow down, get on pit road, get your tires, and then get back up to speed. You're almost about, a minute to a minute and a half on a pit stop. So you don't want to have to make that extra pit stop. It definitely will not help you in the long run. So I really think it's going to be all resting on the shoulders of what that 41 does is what the rest of the guys are going to do. If he continues to stay out more than 30, 35 laps on this run, you'll start seeing some of these guys in second and third start to come down, get that short pit, and try to close this gap that's basically got them right now with a 3.5 second lead back to second.
I tell you what, we do have a serious battle for third, fourth, and fifth. Looks like Ryan A. has got back around the 94 Curtis Young, and Curtis Young is going to fight back on the inside, going down the back straightaway. They're both trying to get around the 193 of Scott Sanderson. I tell you what, these guys have used their tires. Curtis does make the pass on the 55 of Ryan A. but he's going to wash up a little bit. Ryan A. is going to come back on the inside. They're going to pass the 62. It looks like there's a few laps down, and they're going to keep going here. It looks like the 68 has already made a pit stop. He's going to go right by all these drivers. So the Damon Gilbert and the number 68 might be taking advantage of that pitting early.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the guys we're going to watch because he was inside that top 5 when he did come down to pit. So he was basically one of the first ones of the leaders to come down to pit. You can see how much faster he is than these guys. And as longer these guys stay out, the more time they're actually losing to him on the racetrack. So this could, for him, be a good positive for him as far as when all the rest of these guys come down pit road. Because Damon Gilbert right now showing a lap down. However, as soon as he gets around that leader, Daniel Roper right here, it'll probably be in about a couple of laps or so, by the lap times that he's running. Once he gets by him, gets himself back on the lead lap, and then when Daniel Roper comes down, now it puts Daniel Roper to the possibility of basically being a lap down from him. So it's going to be interesting to see how much longer the top runners stay out on the racetrack. It looks like Dave Washington in 98, he has come down. He was running that 10th spot. A couple other drivers coming down as well now. James Ross in the number 14. He's on the way to pit lane right now. He'll slide into his box. He'll get his service done. 4 tires of fuel. Looks like the 11 of Buzz Moore as well coming in just behind him to pit road. So Scott Sanderson now on pit road as well. He's getting his tires. He's going to get back out on the racetrack. So green flag pit stops are definitely starting to happen. You see Mark Jackson coming off of pit road as well too. So it looks like for the most part right now, Curtis Young, the 9. The 9's still out on the racetrack. Looks like Curtis Young just came down pit road here himself. So Daniel Roper's really got to start thinking, when do I come down to pit?
I tell you what, he's definitely contemplating that decision right now. Every single lap, he stays out on these old tires. Andy, these new drivers with brand new 4 fresh Goodyear tires, they're making up at least a second a lap. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah,
this track with this grip level, it's almost about, I want to say it's about almost 2 seconds a lap right now. Because look at one of the guys that came off pit road here. We'll check with Damon Gilbert right now. He's currently running 28.2s, and then you look at Daniel Roper, he ran a 29.4. So you gotta say it's over a second and a half is about what these guys, the difference is going to be as we see the 68 actually pull up to the back of Daniel Roper now here into turns 1 and 2. They'll actually push the issue 3 wide. Brandon Monsivice now up to the top side, and they'll get around safely right there, but that'll check up the 68 just a bit. But you can see Damon Gilbert already back up to the 5th spot. Even though he's showing a lap down, he'll get that lap back now as the 41. He'll slow down off of turn number 4, and here comes the leader, Daniel Roper, now going to make his pit stop.
Yes, sir. We're going to cover that pit stop real quick. It looks like Daniel's come down pit road. What Daniel wants to do is have 0 mistakes on pit road. He's come down into his box. He's going to have 2 right side tires, 2 Goodyear Eagles put on the right side, 1 can of Sunoco fuel. He's also going to have 2 left side tires. All these drivers right now, Andy, my bad. They're going to take 2 full cans of Sunoco fuel, 4 Goodyear tires. They're going to get on and off pit road as fast as they can with 0 mistakes. I tell you what, this is part of the strategy. This is a longer than normal race. This is one of our crown jewel races here at Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf Cup Series. This happens the first race, last race of the series, and 2 in the middle. This is one of those. So these races are 250 miles, 167 laps. So that adds a little bit of extra strategy for these drivers. I'll tell you what, it's going to be the guy who can manage his tires, manage his pit cycles, and his strategy, stay out of trouble. That's who's going to win this race tonight.
No, it absolutely is. We've seen so many times races have been won and lost on pit road. So far, right now, as things cycle through, as the race leader Daniel Roper comes off of pit road, he has lost the lead of the race here right now. Currently, Andrew Bradenberg in that number 4 machine, still out on the racetrack. Looks like he's going to run this thing out of fuel here. He's going to stay out on the racetrack right now, lead some laps, but you're looking, it's going to go back to Damon Gilbert as your race leader here. So once everything cycles through, so that early pit stop, the short pit, he's definitely helped out the number 68 machine. If you take a look at where he is, and then you go all the way back down to see Daniel Roper in that 6th spot. Look at the difference right there, Robert. You're looking at 11 seconds on the racetrack that Damon Gilbert was able to surpass Daniel Roper.
Yes, sir. And what's going to happen next? Damon Gilbert, with that early pit stop, he definitely took advantage of those brand new Goodyear Eagles. A lot of these drivers are calling for a caution. Of course, we have no debris on the track right now. These guys are going to keep it clean. But Damon Gilbert has the advantage with those new tires. About, what would you say, Andy, 15 laps ago? So his tires are going to start wearing out, and it's going to probably circle back around to Daniel Roper, some of these other front runners, if we don't have another caution as far as catching back up. And so the strategy began early in this series, in this cycle of pit stops, and it's going to continue. I tell you what, the drivers we have here in this Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf Cup Series, they are talented drivers, they're smart drivers, and I can almost guarantee you, Andy, every single one of these drivers has a personal spotter and a personal crew chief who's helping them out on the track, because these guys take it serious. They put up some money up front to race in these races. Of course, they're broadcast live here on All Pro Broadcast. We do ask all you fans to make sure two things. First of all, we're getting close to the halfway point when you're picking for the free Domino's Pizza. All you want to do is text 919-883-7497. If you're watching on your device, you want to enter that information in the chat. We do keep track of everything, both of those, and we'll let you know who wins that free pizza tonight. But one other thing is, you want to make sure you click the subscribe button for All Pro Broadcasting. That way you get the automatic alert on Wednesday and Thursday night, even Sunday nights. We started our new, you're not going to believe this, fans, it's called our Renegade Dirt Series. And I tell you what, if you've never watched dirt racing, you have got to watch what we're doing on Sunday nights at 8:50 p.m. Eastern on All Pro Broadcasting. It's some of the most exciting racing you're ever going to see. But anyway, get those picks in. Make sure you subscribe. And it definitely looks like the lead is going to circle back around. Looks like Daniel Roper is all the way back up to the 4th position, Andy.
Yeah, he's done a great job getting up to that 4th spot. He gained about a second that last lap on Damon Gilbert. So the tires will start wearing by the time, these guys get back up to him. By the time Daniel Roper gets that back bumper of the 68, it's going to be about that time the 68 is going to actually be coming back down the pit road. So it's all going to shake out. It's obviously an interesting thing to watch, especially if it stays green like it has. A caution right now basically just throws all that strategy right out the window. So we definitely don't want to see that happen, but you never know. You can't control everything. So I like to see how sometimes these green flag, these strategy type races play out, because it makes it a lot of fun to try to figure out, especially when you get closer to the end there, of who's going to make it, and who's not, who's going to run out of fuel, who's going to be that guy that has the fresher tires at the end. Do we have a late race restart that changes everything? I mean, it's just a lot goes into these races. And you mentioned crew chiefs and spotters for a lot of these guys. And you talk about putting gray hair. Never mind the drivers having to figure out do this, but have that guy in the box trying to figure out and crunch numbers the whole time, and at the same time trying to navigate their driver through all this traffic.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to go over one more Domino's driver profile. While we have a second here, Ryan A. Hill in that number 55. He started back in 25th position. He's up to 6th right now. I'm not sure exactly what his pit strategy is, but from the look of his car, he has kept all 4 fenders pretty clean here. Ryan A. Hill, he is from Virginia Beach, Virginia. He is part of the Dylan Brockwell racing team. We will always keep in our memory Dylan Brockwell. Young man tragically lost his life over a year ago in the dental chair. A lot of these drivers in this race tonight, including quite a few of them, have DBR on the back of their car. We definitely remember him. But Ryan A. Hill is having a great run. His sponsor are Phantom Armament, Hilco Disposal and Recycling, Hilco Hauling and Junk Removal, and MD Designs. Ryan A. Hill, he's been racing real world accomplishments. March 2002, he stepped into the go-kart for the first time and ran a limited schedule. March 2003 through October of 2003, Ryan, he ran his first full season in go-karts. November 5th, 2005, Ryan Hill grabs his first career win. And in April 2008 through November 2008, Ryan moved into mini cups, and now they race on the small oval. Ryan comes out and wins in the inaugural mini cup race on the small oval with 5 other wins. He's also won in the Arena Pro, and he definitely knows how to get around the track here at basically every track we're on here in that number 55.
Yeah, he's done a great job. You mentioned coming from that 25th starting spot and not qualifying here tonight, making it up into the top 5, doing a great job with that. And just as I mentioned, as soon as that 41 would get to that back bumper of the 68 of Damon Gilbert, he'd come in and pit. Just that happened. Going into turn number 3, a lap ago, Daniel Roper caught him, went to the outside because the 68 had called out that he was going to come down to the pit lane. So the 68 was back down on the pit lane. Damon Gilbert got his service done once again, so now it's going to put him at a whole different strategy here as we work lap number 76, getting closer and closer to that halfway point for that free pizza. So like Robert said just a moment ago, make sure you get your picks in, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys up towards the front of the field, guys a different strategy. It's going to be a tough one to get that pick right.
Yes, sir. I will go over the details real quick. We do have Damon Gilbert on pit road coming off. To get your chance to win the large 3 Domino's free pizza, all you have to do is text 919-883-7497. If you're watching the race on your device, you can also comment in the live chat. We keep track of everything. The first fan who accurately predicts the winner of this race before halfway, like Andy said, which is going to be, we're going to give a lap 83, which you got about, looks like 6-7 laps to go. You will win the free large 3 topping Domino's pizza, carry out only. And I'll tell you what, Andy, I wanted to ask you a question here. We've had an extremely long green flag run here. These drivers are battling. I know it looks like it's at night here in Charlotte, but these guys, for this long of a run, Andy, you tell me what you think. They're battling everything inside the cockpit of this car. These engines are putting out about 925 horsepower, I think. The exhausts are coming underneath the floorboards of these cars. Their feet are getting hot. The heat inside these cars, even at night, Andy, has got to be upwards of 110 degrees. The air temperature might be low, but these guys are battling all kind of elements. And what I'm impressed by, Andy, is they're able to manage every single lap. I'm thinking we're going on, I'm not sure how many laps are in this green flag run, but they're able to manage getting around the other cars, keeping the car out of the wall for the most part, getting on the pit road, making the pit stop. If they're lucky, they'll get the crew member to give them a water bottle through the window. And they're able to maintain. This is some of the greatest racing I've seen in a long time, Andy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Anytime you get a long green flag run, doesn't matter the track. Could be here, could be Martinsville, could be any of these. It takes a lot of focus to be able to put up lap times the same or equivalent every single time around the racetrack. And for a lot of these drivers, and guys like Daniel Roper, I've known him for a long time and seen him and broadcasted him in tons of races. He is one of those guys, a guy like Dave Washington that can literally put down 100 laps of exactly the same. Everything's the same. Let-off points are the same. Back on the throttle's the same. They're just so consistent. And these long green flag runs, these are the type of runs that these drivers love. They love to have these. Obviously, it's a lot of focus has to go into it for them just to stay focused like that. You can't have any distractions around you, nothing, and you get to be able to keep that car doing what it's doing for as long as it's doing, and keep yourself, especially when you're up front like this, leading the race. You got nobody behind you pressuring you like Daniel Roper at the current moment with a 3.2 second lead. It's so hard to stay focused. That's when your spotter, that's when your crew chief comes in and starts reading lap times of the guys behind you, and just kind of let you know what's going around the racetrack, because you have no idea. You're only in that spot. You're in that zone. You're focused on what's going on in front of you. You have no idea what's going on the rest of the racetrack, so you don't know when other guys are coming in the pit. A lot goes into it. So for these drivers in long green flag runs like this, it takes a lot of concentration. They're doing a fantastic job here. We've been green flag, I believe it's been for just about 60 laps, I believe, here. Somewhere around lap 20, 25 when we went back racing. So, it's been a long time for these guys so far here. We're probably getting really close. Probably in the next 15, 20 laps, we'll start seeing the leaders, Daniel Roper, come back down pit road once again. We already saw the 68 of Damon Gilbert come down for his second stop, currently in the 17th position. Making a lot of headway, though, down the backstretch. He'll probably catch Daniel, get around him once again like he did last time. Oh, we had a little problem off turn 4 that last time. The 94 got into the wall there. It looks like Curtis Young got into the wall. A little bit of contact happening with the 71 as well, too, on there with Wesley Whitfield. Those two drivers just looks like a little tight for the 94 off of turn number 4 that last time. Got a little piece of the wall, and the 71 got into his back bumper, but they're able to keep it straight.
Yes, right before that, back on lap 83, I think Mark Jackson, that number 3, over the top paints. Chevy SS got into the wall, same exact scenario there, Andy. Kept it up against the wall. Unfortunately, with the damage he got, came back right across the grass and was able to come down pit road. I'm sure he got a penalty for that. But these drivers, like we were talking about earlier, the focus that it requires to realize, how your car's changing, the track is changing. These guys are putting down a lot of rubber here now. We're like 86, 87 laps into this 160-some lap race. So we got other guys coming down pit road already for the second cycle of green flag pit stops. Andy, who do you see come down now? And I'm just amazed at how these guys are keeping it going straight.
Yeah, I see right now the 193, Scott Sanderson from 5th. He's going to come down pit road. He's going to make his second green flag stop now on this run. So he's kind of taking a play, I think, out of the 68's book there. Come down a little bit earlier than these guys, maybe get an advantage. Maybe get himself a little bit more track position here before this thing's all done. You got Tanner Tallarico. What a great run. We saw him, how fast he was late in that run. He has gotten himself, with the pit stops and all that, it's got him up into the second spot here. So he's done a great job. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pit a little bit earlier, Daniel Roper as well, too, to take advantage of that as here on this next round of pit stops as well. So you got to start thinking, this is the time of the race where you start counting basically the laps backwards for these drivers. Since we're just past the halfway point, they're basically going to sit there and say, okay, I want 35 lap runs. You take that away from the 167 and continue on, and you figure out when you're going to make your pit stops. And if they got a really good crew chief spotter up on the stand there, they had that figured out probably about 50 laps ago, honestly, when it first went back to green. I know when I'm up on the box for some of these guys, that's exactly what I do. As soon as that goes green, I try to figure it out that if it does stay green, this is what we'll do. So the plan's already there. So I'm sure it was for most of these guys. I'm sure it is for our leader right now. Daniel Roper's got a pretty comfortable 6-second gap right now back to that 42.
Yes, sir. He definitely has played the pit strategy perfect. These other drivers are coming down pit road. I was just talking about you were just talking about Kyle Cameron. He came down pit road. He's coming off right now. Kyle Cameron, we're going to do one more Domino's driver profile. Kyle Cameron is in that number 88. Kyle is from Indianapolis, Indiana. His race team is Camera Racing. He typically runs that Interstate Batteries sponsored on his car. That's with the All Battery Center, which are located in Sandusky, Ohio, and Concord, North Carolina. He would like to give thanks out to his team and his wife and his family for supporting him. I tell you what, Kyle was having a pretty good run tonight. He's back here in 17th position, but I tell you what, these guys, I am still amazed how many laps we've run green here. With all the different pit strategies, these guys have been around Charlotte, like I said earlier, hundreds of laps before. Not necessarily in the same group of drivers. So that's what amazes me even more, Andy, is these guys were giving each other plenty of room passing, coming on the pit road, coming off the pit road. And, like you mentioned earlier, the crew chiefs, I would not want to have a crew chief job right now because you got to run the calculators completely out of batteries trying to figure out, okay, how many more laps can I go before the next caution or the next green flag pit stop to make it to the end? How can I get around this Daniel Roper and win this race? So this is where strategy is going to come into place.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're thinking. They've been thinking that since the last pit stop as well, too. So they got a lot of work to do, obviously. Plenty of time still left to go here as we complete. Looks like we just completed lap number 93 here that time by. So Daniel Roper working his way back into turn number 1. Still a comfortable lead right now over Tanner Tallarico, but we got the 68 who had made that pit stop. He's sneaking up on the back bumper now. That 41 looking to make some noise too as well. Get his lap back the hard way here. So you got the old 011 or William Davis with fresh tires as well, trying to make his way around those guys. Almost makes contact with the 68 there coming off turn number 4. We'll choose the high side to get the 98 of Dave Washington there as well, looking to get one of his laps back too, after he had just made his green flag pit stop as well. So he's going to the inside of the leader. He'll get one of those back this time here. As he had the damage early on, was involved in that contact with the 68 of Damon Gilbert early in the race, and has made himself back up into the top 10. He's done a good job with that nonetheless, and right now trying to get some advantage with those fresh tires here. As we'll see the 14 machine, James Ross, now make his way around the leader as well too. Those two drivers teammates, the 98 and the 14, running back to back right now here on the surface of the racetrack and in the standing 16th, 17th respectively. So still waiting for some of our leaders to come down pit road. The 9 of Caleb Eisenhower still out on the racetrack. Ryan Hill still out on the racetrack. Looks like the 42, I thought he was slowing down there. Looks like he something must have happened with him there. He might have just came off of pit road there. Looked like the 42 was a little bit slow. He did just come off of pit road. So Tanner Tallarico just made his green flag pit stop. So he's going to get back on the racing surface as well. So just a few more drivers still left to get it done. On the green flag pit stop, looks like about 3 of them right now. Looks like Ryan Hill down, not Ryan Hill, Caleb Eisenhower down pit road now. So he's going to make his stop. Ryan Hill, Daniel Roper, still the 2 drivers left out on the racetrack here yet to make their second green flag run of this green flag event we're having here right now. Robert here as we work lap number 98.
Yes, Randy, thank you so much. I do want to remind the fans, we have passed the halfway point. We will definitely let you know who wins the free large Domino's pizza. But in the meantime, we do want to remind all the fans, you are watching the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, right down the road in Concord, North Carolina. I'm up the road at Raleigh, North Carolina. I tell you what, if you've never been to Charlotte for one of the races, you definitely need to make a trip. You and your whole family come down to Charlotte to enjoy one of these races. I tell you what, watching it on TV is one thing, but being there live is totally another experience. However, it will be hard to beat the experience that All Pro Broadcasting with Mike D'Amico is putting on for us tonight with all these great camera angles. I tell you what, you want to make sure you click the subscribe button there so you get all the notifications. This is the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250. POWERTEK Power Solutions, they are from Richfield, Connecticut. Your one-stop shop for all emergency power needs. They are serving Fairfield County, Connecticut, Winchester, and Putnam County, New York. I just heard we have a driver in the grass. As far as I can tell, we're still staying green.
That we are. Leaders have come down pit road. The 41 machine just came on the pit road, took 4 tires of fuel. He's going to get back out on the racetrack now. So Daniel Roper in a caution out on the speedway. And it looks like, wow, let's see Curtis Young going through the infield grass there as well too. So we'll have to try to figure this one out here. Looks like maybe then.
Yeah, it looks like the 94 came down through the pit road like you said, throw out the caution, and we're going to get the replay brought up right now. Thanks.
That's unbelievable right there. So problems for Curtis Young there coming off of turn number 4 through the grass. Not sure if he had a little help. We'll see on the replay now. It looks like just a self-spin right there coming off of turn number 4. That car just looked really loose, really chattery there, and he touched the grass, and that was all she wrote for him. Right through the grass, through the pit lane. That's definitely a penalty as well, too, for the driving the number 94. So not what Curtis Young wanted here tonight for this one. That's going to set him back quite a bit here in this one. But green flag run all the way quite a long distance here tonight. So we'll get our 3rd caution of the night now under our belts here. As they just came down pit road, but I would not be surprised to see our leaders head back down that way once again.
Yes, sir, Andy. We're going to take this quick opportunity to take our final commercial break. You are watching the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250 live on All Pro Broadcasting. Fans, will be right back in a minute to take you to the end of the race.
Hey, this is Garrett Smithley driving the number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Well, excuse me for not noticing. Did your little storm knock out the power? Well, excuse me for not noticing.
Hate to disappoint you, Old Man Winter. Better luck next time.
If the power goes out, your Generac standby generator goes on automatically.
Down trees? Flash floods? Is that all you've got?
Stand up to the threat of outages with Generac and never feel powerless.
Welcome back, race fans. You're just in time for the restart here. Andy, the drivers are going through turn, looks like 3 and 4. Get ready to come down to the front stretch for the green flag restart. I'll let you take it, Andy.
This will be, I haven't said this in a while, but the pace car is going to go back down pit road, and we'll get set to get back underway. Good jump. Green flag will wave here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Daniel Roper, a great jump. A little trouble on the high side for the 42 of Tanner Tallarico. He's going to slip up just a bit. He'll surrender that second spot to Caleb Eisenhower. He's also going to surrender it to the 55 of Ryan Hill as Hill now moves to that third spot. And here comes the 68, Damon Gilbert. We talked about everything he has gone through here. He stayed out just long enough there. He was actually the race leader when the caution came out. He came down pit road. He's got 4 fresh tires where the rest of these guys stayed out. We'll see what that 68 can do. It only was about 4 or 5 laps, so we'll see if Daniel Roper can hang on to it. We saw how much it made a difference with a lot more laps on the tires. See what it will do here for the 68 machine this time here. Off turn number 4, pretty good battle up front. Pretty good battle for 4 too as well. It's a double file there for just a moment. Rico trying to battle back now and get himself back up into the top 3. Close in right on the back bumper to 55 now as they work their way through 3 and 4.
Yes, sir, the 68 of Damon Gilbert. He's got those 4 brand new Goodyear Eagles, but it looks like he's going to take his time here. He knows these drivers up front, the tires are worn out on him. He's not going to wear his tires out right up front in the first 2, 3, 4 laps of this restart. He's going to take his time, be patient, make his passes when he can, and that's what we call a smart driver, a smart racer, and I'm sure he'll be up in the front here before long.
Absolutely. Look at the outside lane working for Tim Cox. We haven't talked about him in quite a long time. Started 32nd here tonight. He had been up in the top 10, but look at him now on this restart here, battling for that 4th spot now. He'll go to the outside of the 42 of Tanner Tallarico. He'll take that spot rather easily now. Move him up to 4th. Here comes the 68 of Damon Gilbert as well. He'll take that spot away from Tanner. We know Tanner, we saw him earlier in the race when we just started getting those green flag runs. He was one of those guys, kind of fell back a little bit on the start, saving his tires. About 10-15 laps into the run, though, all of a sudden that 42 came alive. Here goes a good battle again for that 4th spot. Side by side, back into turn number 1. 68 of Damon Gilbert. Almost looked like he was going to take 2 spots that time. What a run off of turn number 2, though. Here comes Ryan Hill now, looking for 2nd.
I tell you what, Tim B. Cox has definitely moved up all the way from that, like you said, 32nd starting position into 4th. I tell you what, his crew chief, his spotter, they've given him some incredible information tonight. You definitely can't count him out for the end of this race. He drops back to 5th, there, Andy. But I tell you what, he's definitely going to be a player here as we got about 57 laps to go.
Yeah, running out of time. How about some blocking going down the back straightaway right there? The 9 of Caleb Eisenhower trying to protect that inside line. Not going to happen. He'll move him up the racetrack just a bit. Ryan Hill, though, can't get in the throttle quick enough to keep him back in the 3rd spot here as he still has to battle with the pressure from Damon Gilbert for that who sits in that 4th spot right now. But Ryan Hill looking for something right now, trying to get what he can with these fresher tires. It's just not been able to happen for him on that bottom side. He's had to surrender that spot a couple of times, having to give way to that top lane right now. So Caleb Eisenhower trying to hang on. This is exactly what Daniel Roper wants to see out of his out of his rear window, though, is these guys battle, and the longer they battle, it means the less time they're up there battling him for the top spot here. So settle down just for a moment to head back into turn number 1. Here goes Ryan Hill looking once again to the inside. Kind of a late entry, a late dive down to the bottom of the racetrack for the 9. Almost tempting there for the 55 to stick the nose in there. Don't want to quite do that. Still plenty of time. Still 50-some laps here. 55, it looks like. 56 coming to the line this time by here. So these drivers, still tons of time. You don't want to force the issue just yet.
I tell you what, the 55 He had to get out of the gas there going into the corner. That was the 68 of Damon Gilbert. You're right to him. That looks like he had a little contact with the 19 of Tim B. Cox, I'm afraid. It looks like we got a big spin there. And this is definitely going to bring the caution. Fans, give us just a second to bring it to replay here.
Yeah, the replay is kind of similar to the first caution of the night. Just a small tap going into turn number 1. Sent Dave Washington around off the front bumper of the 68 of Damon Gilbert. Now this time Damon Gilbert gets a little tap from the 19 of Tim Cox. That's going to put him now into the garage and the pit road here. So he's going to be now scored a lap down. So that's not good for the 68 of Damon Gilbert. Some problems for him late in the going on a car that was very, very fast all night long. And it's going to put him pretty much out of contention of this one here. At least for the race win and for the time being. So caution once again, the 4th time out tonight. I imagine we'll see these leaders come down pit road. They weren't down the last time. And Daniel Roperts, they worked their way through 3 and 4. Already starting to spot out, figure out what they want to do here. Obviously, 4 tires is definitely the way to go. Still tons of time left to go as far as the race is concerned. So he's going to come down, bring the rest of the field with him. I don't think anybody will try a 2-tire stop here. They saw how important the 4 tires were all night long.
Yes, sir, Andy. I tell you what, like you just mentioned, these cars are running down the straights, especially around the quad oval in the front stretch. They're going into turn 1 upwards of 203, 204 miles an hour. They scream down the back stretch. They're entering turn 3 and 4, close to 200 miles an hour. So you get just a tiny bit of contact there with the car in front of you, and it will definitely spin the car in front of you around. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened with the 19 of Tim B. Cox and the 68 of Damon Gilbert. Very, very unfortunate. Of course, this is what we call racing. And in racing, things happen, right, Andy?
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Some things are just out of your control, and small mistakes, that's all it takes. And like you said, sometimes you don't even need to touch them. Just get a little air off of that rear spoiler, and it's enough to send these guys around. So right there, we saw just a small, ever so slightly of a tap, and that's what was enough to send that 68 around and have him to tow into pit road and cost him a couple of laps, at least 1 lap right now shown on the board in 17th spot, 1 lap down. So just as they came onto pit road, Daniel Roper, Caleb Eisenhower, and the 55 of Ryan Hill, those 3 drivers came in 1, 2, 3. They'll come out of pit road 1, 2, 3, and that 41 machine will retain the race lead here as we work lap number 115 as they cross the start-finish line right now. So it leaves us just 52 laps. That's all we got left here, 52 laps left to go in this thing. So we're getting to that point here where we're just outside a window for a pit stop. You're going to have to make at least 1 more stop here.
Yes, sir, Andy. I was just about to ask you that exact same question. You're reading my mind, mister. Can the drivers, if we stay green, can they go green without a pit stop? And you just kind of answered my question. I'm pretty sure they cannot make it if we go green. That's obviously the question here. If we have a caution, that changes everything. But if we do not, I tell you what, we got some big movers here in the field. I do want to go over those real quick. We do have Ryan A. Hill in the 55. He has moved from 25th up to 3rd position. We got Scott Sanderson in that 193. He's one of our new drivers. He qualified back in 19th. He's up in 4th position. We got Down Telrico in that 42. Started 12th up to 5th. Dave Washington qualified up in 4th. He had some issues early in the race there, Andy. He has been fighting every single lap of this race, every single pit stop. I think the crew, they've been legal over the wall, but you would almost think they've had 10 guys over the wall working on that car to get David Washington number 98, which is sponsored by All Pro Broadcasting. Repaired enough to be competitive, and if you ask me, Andy, he's definitely competitive. He's up to 6th. We got Kyle Cameron up to 7th in that 88. Kyle Charpentier had some issues earlier in the race. He's up to 8th. We got James Ross up to 9th. And in rounding out the top 10, we have the number 11 Budweiser machine at Buzz Moore.
Yeah, good group of drivers up there in the top 10. A lot of action we're going to see here in the closing 51 laps when we take the green flag this time by. So 40 laps, that's a good, safe number for a fuel run. 45's pushing it. 52 ain't going to happen. So we're definitely going to have at least one more stop here tonight. The question is, when do you do it? Do you do it after 20 laps? Do you split it in half and do it in 30? Do you know, that's where the thing is. Do you come down early, try to take advantage of the fresh tires, but then if you get caught with a caution, it's not going to be good for you at all. We will see, and we will see just that. As the green flag waves once again. Topside was chosen by the leader right now, Daniel Roper. He'll continue to hold that spot right now, but a pretty good jump by the top two guys. Caleb Eisenhower, he's been on the ball here all night long on the restarts. He's going to keep that second position as both those guys have pulled away from the 55 of Ryan Hill. Now some 6 car lengths separate those guys back into turn 3.
Yes, sir, we do have Scott Sanderson at 193. He is up to 3rd position now. He's getting some serious heat from the 42 of in 4th position. He's getting serious heat from the 42 of Talon Rico in 5th. Of course, Ryan Hill is up to 3rd position there. And Dave Washington, just like we talked about, he is up to 5th position, looks like maybe 6th here. His car's got a tad bit of damage, and he's getting a mirror full of the number 11 Budweiser of Buzz Moore. It's going to be really interesting to see which one of these guys over this run here. We could have another, like you said, 45, 55 lap green flag run. Who's going to save their tires? And who's going to push hard here in the front to try to get around the leader of the race all night long, Daniel Roper?
And dominating performance so far here in Charlotte for the driver, the number 41 Drakentek entry, and he's done a great job keeping up to the front of the field. Pit stops have been spot on. The strategy has been spot on for him. He hasn't been any mistakes at all, whether getting on pit road, on the racetrack at all. It's basically his race to lose at this point. In this one here, someone's going to have to come up and just take it from him if they want it, and we'll see if that can happen here. His first start in the Domino's Top Shelf Cup Series here this season, so not a bad way to show your first start of the season here, to lead all these laps, be up front, all the TV time for the 41, and now he's going to feel a little bit of pressure here as the 9 of Caleb Eisenhower starts to close the gap now off turn 4.
Yes, sir, I want to talk about some cars a little bit further back in the pack now. It looks like running in 11th position here, we have got Gerald Campbell in that number 25. He started 34th. He's all the way up to 10th place. This is a great run for Gerald. Looks like he is running, sorry about that. Looks like he is running that famous This Sick Beat Ford Fusion. That's a Pray for Mama Swift. That's a Taylor Swift car. We love Gerald being in the series. He always brings some really, really fun paint schemes there. Running in 11th, we got Jack Watts. He's in that Southeast Motorsports, number 66. He is having a really good run, Jack Watts is. Looks like he started 31st up to 11th. He's going to try to crack the top 10 here in just a minute. We got in 12th, student driver for the Aegis Motorsports, number 14. Of James Ross. We all know that James is no student driver. He puts on the flip most of the times in our truck series, and he's having a good run here tonight. Good to see him up in 12th. Looks like in 13th we have Brandon Cruz. He is in that number 54 Chevy SS. He has a little bit of right rear damage. He's in that OSR TV Chevy SS. He is at the 13th.
Before that last time, Robert, sorry to interrupt you.
Fine.
A little bit of contact with the 55 of Ryan Hill and the 9 machine of Caleb Eisenhower. A little bit of contact coming off turn number 4 of the 9. Went for a little slide through the grass. Able to keep it straight. We stayed green, but he's going to lose a ton of spots on the racetrack. It looked like one of those incidents we saw already twice in turn number 1 here tonight. Just the slightest of contact put him out of shape, but I'll tell you what, a great job hanging on to that number 9 machine, Caleb Eisenhower. And I'll tell you what, I don't see any issues for him as far as working his way back up through the field. There's not a ton of time left in this race, but as fast as that car's been all night, he should be able to find himself back up there.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, like you just said, that little bit of contact will get you loose. I talked about last night the truck race. It takes the best of the best drivers to hang on to a car or a truck once you get loose at these speeds. And I tell you what, he definitely did that, kept it going straight. He'll be back up front. Back to the field here, we got in 15th, the number 67 of Scott Smiley. Scott Simley, my bad. He is in that Hippie Paint Shop 67 Chevy SS. A little bit of right rear damage. He's getting passed right now, looks like by the 19 GeForce GTX, Chevy SS, NVIDIA. Tim B. Cox are going side by side here. They're battling hard. Tim's trying to get those positions back from earlier in the race. He's right beside him. I tell you what, this is one of the greatest battles side by side. They come through the quad oval, right through the start-finish line. It looks like Scott's still got the lead here, or not the lead, but that position. But Tim B. Cox is battling hard on the inside here. He's probably going to get it with the newer tires behind him. We have in 17th Curtis Young in that Dive Bomb Motorsports, number 94 Ford. 14th, I missed a couple of spots here. We got Gary Sexton. He's in that 14th position, the number 17. Made the 4th. Be With You. We talked about this car earlier. He's part of the Cross Continent Racing team. This is a Toyota Camry with a great paint scheme on here for Star Wars. Love to see him in the race. And that's the top 14, Andy.
That's all that we have here tonight. Left on the lead lap, 14 drivers. Still with an opportunity here to get a great finish out of this one as we close in on the final 40 laps here of this race here tonight. We've had a couple battles going on here up towards the front of the field. Tanner Tillerico was trying to get around Scott Sanderson, but it looks like he's put on the Jets now as he's pulled away from the 42 and actually closing the gap on the 55 of Ryan Hill. Looking to the high side, trying to make that high line work here for that driver in the number 193, and we'll see what these three drivers can do now as they battle for that second spot. All grouped up real nicely, just like the group we see a little further back too, from 6th on to about 10th, make it 12th. It's all those drivers right there, nose to tail, battling for all 7 of those positions right now on the racetrack. Anything can happen with all of them right now, but we keep an eye on Caleb Eisenhower. He had fell back outside the top 10. Well, guess what? He's back up to 7th right now, trying to work his way around Kyle Kamer right now, and that is for the 6th position as those two drivers battle right now down the front stretch back into turn 1.
Yes, sir. I just noticed a minute ago there, Andy, the 55 of Ryan Hill, he either got tight, got loose coming off the corner. He let the 193 of Scott Sanderson and the 42 of Tanner Tallarico get by him. I'm wondering if he's trying to make a strategy play here. We got, like you said, about 30 laps to go. More than likely, everybody has to come back up pit road to make one more pit stop. And here's where the real strategy starts. Fans, you've been watching all night long. We do appreciate you. But this is going to be the most exciting, most challenging part of the race for the drivers and for you fans. Even if you've already missed your chance to pick for the pizza, who's going to win this race? Is it going to be the driver out front, running hard, running fast? Is he going to come down pit road late or early? Is he going to take 2 tires, 4 tires? Or these 2nd, 3rd place, 4th place drivers, are they going to have the right pit strategy, Andy, to take advantage of a possibility, if we go green here, to make the right call on pit road? I tell you what, you got a multitude of people working with each one of these drivers to get the best finish here, and I tell you what, it is not over until you know who sings. And that's going to be lap 167. So I tell you what, the 55 of Ryan Hill, he might have just made a strategy call. He might be saving fuel right here, Andy.
Yeah, he might be saving fuel, but I think 10 or 15 laps is a lot to save, especially at a 1.5-mile racetrack. So we'll see exactly what he can do. But I'll tell you what, somebody that's already made his call and tried some strategy. How about it? The 98, David Washington, and sure enough, there it is. The caution comes out. He goes down pit road to try to make something different here. The caution comes out. That's going to catch him a lap down. So caution now back on the speedway for the 5th time here tonight. We'll get a replay up on your screen there, but lap 134 now going into the books.
Yes, fan, we're going to pull up the 19. Looks like he had a little issue there. I think he had come down and had some new tires. At least he was battling back up through the field there. We saw him pass a few cars, and he might have been pushing his machine a little bit more than the machine and the tires would handle. I'm not sure here. We're going to pull the replay up real quick. Tim B. Cox is one of our very talented drivers. It looks like he gets into the outside wall there, coming out off of turn 4. He tries to save it, overcorrects, and gets into the outside wall again. Unfortunate for Tim B. Cox. That's probably going to ruin his chance of getting a top 10 finish. But Andy is going to open the door for pit strategy.
Yeah, this is the time to come down now. Like I said, we're closing in on the last 33 laps right now on the board here to go with this one. So every driver can make it to the end from here. It's just going to be basically, can anybody catch that 41 now? They're all going to be on the same strategy. They're all going to have 4 tires. it's all thrown out the window. It all comes down to determination, will, and how bad do you want it.
Well, I tell you what, right now the 193 of Scott Sanderson is running in second position. I could be a little bit behind the pace here. But we got a lot of fast drivers here, Andy, in the top 5-10 as they come down pit road. You probably already saw this. Looks like you said, they're all getting 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. They probably don't need more than 1 can of Sunoco fuel, maybe a can and a half to get to the end of this race. It does look like Daniel Roper in the 41 is going to come off pit road in the first position. But I tell you what, this restart and the first 5 laps, maybe even the first 2 or 3 laps of this restart, that's what's going to tell the tale.
Well, it definitely is. Can they get around him? If you're going to get around him, do you do it early? Do you try to wait? But it also seems that the 41 has been very fast over as the runs have gotten longer and longer as well, too. So we saw the 9 earlier, who's now made a great rebound to be up in that 4th spot here, Caleb Eisenhower. So after that small contact with the 55 about 10 or 15 laps ago, he has made his way back up into the top 5. So good to see him still have an opportunity here to pull out a great finish and possibly a win. But we did see early in the runs that 9 was able to stick with that 41 right on his back bumper, even try to maybe force the issue and try to maybe make a pass. So we know that the short run speed, everybody's pretty equal when it comes to that, but it's the long run speed, and you want to get around that 41, I think, as quick as possible. I think the longer you wait, you're going to be about 3 or 4 seconds back before it's all said and done.
Yes, sir, Andy. On this restart, it definitely looks like we've got the number 1 pole sitter, Daniel Roper. He's going to be restarting first here. We got Scott Sanderson in the 193. He's going to be restarting second. Scott started all the way back in 19th position. And we also have Ryan A. Hill. Looks like he's going to be restarting in 3rd. He started back in the 25th position. We've got Caleb Eisenhower, like you said, that little bit of damage maybe will not hold him up much. He started 2nd in the race. He's going to be restarting in 4th. Another big mover. 42. We've talked about him all night. Tano Talrico is up to the 5th position in the restart, and this is going to get exciting.
Well, it absolutely is. Looks like the wave arounds will happen this time as they cross the start-finish line. They'll get a wave around the pace car. They'll get themselves back on the lead lap. We'll have 16 drivers now back on the lead lap. With Scott Simley, Curtis Young both get the wave around, put themselves back on the lead lap for this one here. The leader has chosen the outside lane, Daniel Roper. Looks like he wants the outside lane here for this restart. Not sure exactly who that's going to give the advantage to behind him. But that 9 car, Caleb Eisenhower, that's probably the spot he wants to be in. He's been able to time the restarts off pretty good with that 41 all night long. If he can do just that, he might be able to clear that 193 before they get out of turn number 2 on the restart. So we'll see exactly what this restart brings. But how about Kyle Kamer back up to that 6th spot there in this here for this what could be our final restart of the night. So it's a good spot to be in. Him a good rebound for him as well, outside the top 10 most of the night. Now finds himself battling for a top 5, possibly a win before this thing is over. 30 laps right now left to go in this one here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll make it 29 when they cross the start-finish line and get the green flag for this restart here late in the going. Pace car going to look its way down the pit road. We wait for the leader to take the green flag. Some guys get antsy towards the back of the field right there, and it's actually going to cause a mayhem. We're going to have a couple of cars spinning now down the back, on the front straightaway. We don't get a caution, though. It stays green, and Daniel Roper is going to pull out to about a 2-car length lead now off turn 2.
Yes, sir, that was a leader's discretion to go when the pace car came in, or he could wait till the green flag. In that particular case, he waited, but we do have the 193 of Scott Sanderson on the inside here of the number 9.
Yeah, looking to take that 2nd spot now, really diving it down in the corner, trying to take advantage of the fresh tires. He'll get a decent run coming off the corner, the outside lane, though. Caleb Eisenhower is going to hang on to that spot at least for a moment. Keeps the quarter panel to Sanderson on the inside of him right there. Get some smokers coming down through the corners there, coming down pit road. Drivers involved in that restart incident there on the front stretch. They'll get off the track, stay green, everything stays good up towards the front of the field. that 9 of Caleb Eisenhower, able to hang on to that second spot. He'll pull out a little bit, a car and a half now, over that 193 of Scott Sanderson. Is the 55, Ryan Hill. He's trying to get those tires to come in as well, too. See if he cannot get himself up on a podium position here before this thing's all said and done.
Yes, sir, and you don't want to roll out the 42 of Tanner Talrico. He has made some serious moves up front. We do have side-by-side battling. Looks like the Kyle Cameron, the 88, just got passed by the 11 of Buzz Moore in that Budweiser machine. And Gerald Campbell, where did he come from? As they always say. In that 6th position, he's in number 25, Taylor Swift car. He avoided that stack of the restart. I tell you what, Gerald is going to have something to say before this is over.
Yeah, you're not kidding at all. How about our Truck Series points leader this season right now, Gerald Campbell, getting it done in the Truck Series with consistent finishes. Still hasn't yet to see victory lane in the Truck Series, but he sees the points lead right now, currently over that season. So having a fantastic year so far and having a fantastic race here tonight. Started 34th, almost dead last in the field here tonight. He finds himself trying to get a top 5 out of this thing before it's all said and done. He's trying to chase down Tanner Talarico in that 42 machine to see if he cannot do that before this thing is over. Lots of stuff happening up toward the front. The leaders have not been able to separate themselves just as of yet. We've seen this pretty much every restart so far. Daniel Roper able to hang on to that lead, but he's had these guys basically in tow in the draft as well, too, here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So they've been able to hang with them for the first few laps, but as the laps wind down and we get closer and closer to about 20 to go, this is the time they needed to even try to make the pass, if not get around that 41 of Daniel Roper, I think. Anyway, if they wanted a chance to get this thing, because about this time and further on, this is when it starts to pull away from the field.
I tell you what, it is looking like the number 9 of Caleb Eisenhower is making some drags on the leader here. And we do also have the 193 of Scott Sanderson. They are all 4. I'll include Ryan Hill on the number 55. They're coming up on some lap traffic here. But it does not look like Daniel Roper has been able to stretch it out like he did earlier in the race, there, Andy. And I think there's going to be a big show here for them in the race.
Yeah, we absolutely hope so. I mean, hey, that's what we come here to watch these things for, is to see some great races, some great finishes. We've had that all night long here as we work lap number 147. Next time, 20 laps to go here at Charlotte. It goes pretty quickly when you're not thinking about it here. 167 laps, 250 miles, and we only got 20 more laps to settle this one before it's all over. 2-car length lead now for Daniel Roper as he heads back into turn number 1. About the same, back to the 193 of Scott Sanderson off the back bumper of the 9, and then you got Ryan Hill there as well. So the top 4 right there, all looking for a podium finish, all looking for a win here tonight, and they all have about the same separation between each other as they work their way back through turns 1 and 2. You got to go a little further back to 5th place runner Tanner Talarico right now. He's about a second off of the back bumper of those drivers, and then of course Gerald Campbell making his move in the 25 machine. He's trying to close that gap to the 42. We mentioned that. He's starting to pull away from the 11 of Buzz Moore, trying to get up there, trying to get that top 5 before this thing's all said and done. I'll tell you what, that 25 looking pretty sporty here in the late stages.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, he's making some serious moves. And these leaders are definitely catching each other. Looks like they're stretching it out a little bit here on the backstretch going into turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, stretch it out just a bit here. The lead's starting to stretch out some more. How about another 10th that time by Daniel Roper? Sits down a pretty good lap, 28.032. And that's a 10th faster than the 9 of Caleb Eisenhower. Not what the 9 wants to see now. And that's the problem when you're that guy trying to chase down. You tend to overdrive, and it's not because you're thinking about it. It's just because you're trying to chase that guy down. You know the laps are winding down. You know this is your opportunity to get a win. It's a tough league to get a win in, and we're seeing Daniel Roper doing everything right here tonight. Just very smooth all race long. Pit stops have been spot on. The long run on this car, he's been able to save those tires. He's got a great line on the bottom. You can see him left side tires all the way on that white line. Flirting with disaster. You don't want to touch the apron, and he has definitely not done that. Has not made a mistake all night long. He finds himself with about a half a second gap now coming to the start-finish line. We'll complete lap 151 this time by. It gives us just 16 laps left to go here in Charlotte.
Thank you, Andy, for that update. One last time, I want to remind all the fans you are watching the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250 live on All Pro Broadcasting. POWERTEK Power Solutions. They are from Richfield, Connecticut. Your one-stop shop for all emergency power needs. You have a tornado, you have high winds, you have a flood, you have a toilet overflow. Any kind of emergency in your home, you want to make sure you call POWERTEK Power Solutions. They will be there on the ready. They're serving Fairfield, Connecticut. Fairfield County, Connecticut, and Winchester and Putnam County, New York. They're ready when you need them.
I love it. I love those guys at POWERTEK. I've known James Ross for a long, long time here. I actually spent last weekend with him up at Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut at the Spring Sizzler for the modifieds for the Whalen Tour, and I had a lot of fun there that weekend. But yeah, POWERTEK Power Solutions is a great thing. I'm not sure what they have to do with toilets, though, Robert, but nonetheless, I'm sure he'll come with his plunger if you need me.
Yes, sir. Well, if it happens to knock out your power, definitely call POWERTEK Power Solutions, and that could happen. But back up to the lead here, I tell you what, Daniel Roper is definitely putting on the clinic. I'm expecting any of these drivers at any time now to take out what they're holding back. At the 193 of Scott Sanderson, he's one of the best drivers in the field, the 55. Brian A. Hill, Dave Washington, I know he's got a little bit of damage on his car. Caleb Eisenhower, what's he holding back here? You know, we're looking to see some of these guys. Cameron Talrico, is he saving the last 10 laps? What about Buzz Moore? Has he got something that he's not showing people yet? Gerald Campbell, I tell you what, he's having a really, really great run in that car, up to 6th position. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens here in the next. Looks like we got less than 10 laps to go here.
Yeah, we got about 11 this time by, so we're getting close. Almost there to the end of this thing. Daniel Roper would love to see it about one lap left here. He's looking for that white flag here, but he's going to have to go around 11 more times around this circuit before he can get that job done here tonight. A pretty comfortable lead right now as he works his way down the back straightaway, and a couple other drivers trying to get what they can. How about Ryan Hill trying to get up in that podium position? He's been doing it for the last 10 or 15 laps here, trying to get around that 193 of Scott Sanderson, and unfortunately, just Sanderson's running that middle to high line, and that's where you got to be, I think, this late in the run with the older tires. That's where you need to be to get your speed, and unfortunately for Ryan Hill, he's leaving in the bottom, but I don't think he can do much with it right now. But how about that 42? We know he's a late bloomer here on these runs. Tanner Talarico, he's trying to get up into the top 3 as well before this thing's all said and done. He's got a lot of speed as he works his way back into turn number 3. He's closed that gap down tremendously.
Yes, sir. So the real battle is between, looks like, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Can Tanner get around the 55 of Ryan A. Hill? He's making a move now. Looks like he's got it right to the bumper. He's going to the low line here in turn 1 and 2. And Scott Sanderson will be his next object. Obviously, if these guys race clean, he get by. Screaming down the backstretch, Taylor. It's got all those 925 horsepower open. He gets out of the gas. He did clear the 55. He's making a move down to 193 of Scott Sanderson. Scott does not want to give it up. Oh, it looks like 55 just touched. Yeah, 42 of Taylor. There we go. Taylor had to get out of the gas there. And that's going to give Ryan A. Hill a chance to get back around him.
Yeah, that bottom line really bound up that 42 machine, slowed him up coming off of turn number 4, allowed Ryan Hill to get back up there with the 42. He'll get back up to speed. He'll get more speed now. This time, and a caution out of the speedway. It looks like some contact with the 003 Carlos Charbonnet. He got to the back of the 14 of James Ross there in turns 1 and 2. Sends a 14 spinning, nose first up into the outside wall. And that'll be what will be. Almost got some damage here from the 67 coming into view as well. We'll get a replay up on your screen of that one there. But just again, just some slight contact. We've seen that about 3 or 4 times here tonight, Robert. Doesn't take much, and we saw it once again right there.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, that was a serious contact there. Took out the 14. It looks like a James Ross. And like I said earlier,
Yeah, it was a tough break right there, obviously, for the 14 machine of James Ross. Having a good run here. Was up inside the top 10 there late in the going, so unfortunately for him, on pit road now. Pit road's open, though, and the leader's heading back down pit road. We got less than 10 laps to go. Interesting call. Now is the question, do we see somebody take 2 tires here to try to get that win away from that 41 of Daniel Roper? Some of the guys a little further back, they'll come down pit road. They'll slide in their box first. We'll see exactly what will happen here. It looks like a good stop for Roper. He's into his box cleanly. Right side's going up on him, his car, and the Caleb Eisenhower machine. It'll drop down. They're both going to take 4 tires. How about the 193? How about the 55? 2 tire stops for the top 2 guys coming up pit road.
Thank you, Andy. That's going to make some incredible racing here for the end of this race.
It's going to make some interesting racing, I think, for the end, for the final 4 laps or so that we're going to get before this thing's all said and done. 2 tires. I give the advantage to the guys with 4. The question is, how good of a jump can that 193 get on the restart to possibly hold them off for a couple laps?
That's all you got to do. You got to hold them off for a couple of laps. Get all the tires heated up here. And we're going to have a great restart.
Yeah, we are. A dominating performance so far by the 41 of Daniel Roper, but he's going to have some work to do here before this thing's over if he wants an opportunity to head down to victory lane here tonight. So lap 162 going in the books this time. We're going to have 5 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line. So we're probably going to have about a 3-lap run to the finish here. So he's got to hang on to it, but 3 laps at a 1.5-mile track, that's an awful long time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this has been an incredible race. We have seen some really talented drivers here, and we're going to continue to see some really talented drivers for the rest of this race. And it's going to be a shootout, fans. I hope you did not go to sleep now. We've definitely got a lot more drivers watching now. Excuse me, a lot more fans watching. And you came at the right time. Unfortunately, you will not win the free pizza. But if you definitely click the subscribe button on All Pro Broadcasting, which is our wonderful broadcasting partner with Michael D'Amico, you will not miss any chance this coming Sunday night, next Wednesday, and next Thursday night to win your free large 3-topping Domino's pizza, carry out only from any store in the United States of America. I tell you what, Andy, we've given these away 23 times, I think, now. And fans, not only do you want to win a free pizza, but you want to see some of the greatest racing you can ever find on YouTube here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, week in and week out. And I can't wait for Sunday again, the second installment of the Dirt Renegade series right here on All Pro Broadcasting as well. Make sure you tune into that, 8:50 Eastern Time, Sunday night. That's a lot of fun, watching those cars slide around here in iRacing. I think that's probably one of the best things iRacing's done in a long time is when they came out with that dirt. Of course, it was a year in progress to get that coming out, but I'll tell you what, the wait was worth the wait for that one, because I'll tell you what, they did an absolutely fantastic job. The way the tracks kind of just basically get their grooves, the berms form from the dirt, from the cars as they go around sideways through the corners. I mean, it's just the graphics are unbelievable, and they did a fantastic job with it. So it's fun to watch. It's fun to race in them actually as well too. So if you're not already a member of iRacing, get on the website iRacing.com and make sure you sign up and get involved with this. It's a lot of fun. These guys do this week in and week out, all kinds of series to get involved in, and especially right here at Domino's TYJ Racing. It's just an absolutely phenomenal league. Four different leagues you can get involved in. So the Dirt Renegade Series is just one of those. And again, the second week coming up this Sunday night, 8:50 p.m. Eastern. So we get set for what is our final restart of the night. A caution would end this one prematurely here tonight. Green flag back in the air. The 193 of Scott Sanderson. He'll get a decent jump here. He'll jump to the outside. He'll take the outside on the restart here. Ryan Hill will get that second spot. Now the question is, what do the 4 tires, what do they have for him? Here's Daniel Roper. He starts to close the gap off of turn number 2. Now it comes down to protecting your lane as Scott Sanderson now to the bottom, to the top. Ryan Hill now, he'll dive to the bottom. He'll slip up just a little bit right there. That's going to give the advantage to the 193. We got 3 wide action behind him. Hopefully not a caution. Cars are spinning, and the caution is out, and the 193 will get the win.
Wow. unbelievable there. I tell you what an unbelievable thing going on there. These drivers are racing as hard as they can, try to get the top finish.
Wow, that was absolutely phenomenal right there. Just unbelievable. And that's exactly what Scott Sanderson probably wanted with just having those two tires. Oh, we got some contact going on here after the under the caution here. So we got some interesting things going on.
Yes, sir.
55, Daniel Roper, Ryan Hill under the caution flag, playing bumper cars here in turns 3 and 4. So obviously late in the race, the tempers are up, heated. You know, you want to get the best finish you possibly can. You're racing each other as hard as you can. It's just unfortunate that happens here late in the going. But hey, it's racing, and this is what we got here in this one. But how about it? How about the 193? Scott Sanderson dominating 2 weeks ago at Richmond International Speedway, unable to come home with the victory in that one. He backs it up though with a fantastic run here tonight. He's going to get himself a fantastic win as well too, as we get set to get the checkered flag this time by. So off turn number 4, it's under the caution, and it's on 65 miles an hour. But I'll tell you what, a win's a win. And the 193 of Scott Anderson, he's heading to victory lane at the Domino's TYJ Racing League. Fantastic run for all these drivers. Everybody, 10 drivers ended up on the lead lap here before this thing was all said and done. 250 miles, it all came down to that. A fantastic photo finish. Obviously ended with the caution flag right there, but Scott Sanderson picks up your victory here tonight at Charlotte, his first win in the Domino's 2YJ Top Shelf Cup Series. Ryan Hill will come home in the 2nd spot. Tanner Tallarico will finish in the 3rd spot. 4th goes to Kyle Kamer. Gerald Campbell will end up finishing in the 5th spot. 6th goes to Brandon Monsivice. Good rebound from him from 28th starting spot. Kyle Charpentier will finish in the 7th spot. 8th goes to Gary Sexton. Daniel Roper will finish 9th, round out your top 10. One lap down will be the 11 of Buzz Moore. Scott Simley, 67, a good rebound from him. A couple laps down earlier in the race. He'll finish 11th. 12th to Caleb Eisenhower. Jack Watts in the 66 finishes 13th. 14th goes to Curtis Young. James Ross involved in one of those accidents with about 10 to go right there. He'll finish 15th. Dave Washington comes home in the 16th spot. 17th goes to Tim Cox. Andrew Bradenberg will finish 18th here tonight. 19th to Damon Gilbert. William Davis will finish 20th. 21st to Jeff Martin. Nick Reynolds in the number 10 machine will finish 22nd here tonight. 23rd to Mitchell Reeves. March Jackson will finish 24th. Wesley Whitfield finishes 25th. 26th goes to Jeremy Crandall. Jesse Abram will finish 27th. 28th tonight, Colin Bowden in the number 20 machine. 29th goes to Jeffrey Ford. Ellery Queen will finish 30th. 31st to Cody Griffin. Brian Cutts, he'll finish 32nd, I should say. 33rd goes to Josh Bonwell. Jason Jacoby, 34th. 35th to William Roberts. And Ryan Matthews in the number 51 machine will come home in 36th position. That is your field from top to bottom right there. Of course, Scott Sanderson burning them down on the front stretch. He gets the victory here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the crown jewel event, the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to the other top finishing drivers here in just a moment. We'll be back on All Pro Broadcasting right here on YouTube.
Yes, sir. We're going to bring the top 3 here for an interview real quick. We got a very, very exciting replay there for the end of the race. I'm going to bring in our 2nd place finisher, Ryan A. Hill. Andy, for you to interview real quick.
Yeah, I'm down here on pit road with Ryan Hill. And Ryan, awesome race. I mean, just a lot of green flag laps there in the middle of this one. Pit strategy looked like it was going to play out in a couple different ways with a couple different strategies going on. Some guys short pit, some guys staying out a little bit longer. You were kind of in the middle of that. You didn't come down too early, but you didn't stay out as long as some of the guys like our leader, Daniel Roper, for most of the night. Talk about this one here tonight and how much focus goes into you, especially on those long green flag runs.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a game plan from the start. We were going to start in the back and just wait for everything to come out. And unfortunately, but fortunately for us, there was a big wreck. It took me from 35th to like 12th. So we just kind of stood there most of the night. And yeah, we definitely did not have the fastest car. So we had to rely a lot on strategy. And like you said, everybody had completely different pit strategies. You have guys short pit like 10, 15 laps, and you have guys that are short pit or long pit 10 or 15 laps later. And I was just kind of sitting there. I wanted to stay with Tanner most of the race because I know I'm running points with him, so I kind of wanted to stay with him most of the race. I think I did a good job of that. And come down to the last few laps, it was just everybody was giving it what they could, and unfortunately, incidents happened that shouldn't have happened. But we'll go on and to the next race, and everything's great.
Yeah, listen, tight racing. When you're talking about a restart with about 3 laps to go, it's all or nothing at that point. It was a fantastic job done by everybody in the race here tonight, but for you guys able to hang on to that one there late in the going here, have an opportunity to come home with the victory here at the Crown Jewel at Charlotte here. Definitely a great run for you in the 55, and we'll give you this opportunity though, Ryan. Sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun that last restart. Like I said, I'll publicly apologize for after the race or when the caution came out. I did slide up and get into the 41. I honestly didn't mean to do that, but Robert knows what's going on, so I got hit on the back straightaway. So that's something we'll talk about later. But anyways, yeah, I'd like to thank everybody in the broadcast booth. Robert putting on a great league. Congratulations to Scott. Great driver, great guy. Congratulations on his win after what happened 2 weeks ago at Richmond. But yeah, I would just like to thank everybody at DBR. We have the Dylan Brockwell Memorial Race coming up here May 2nd, so if you want to get in touch, just contact myself or Colin Bowden. Phantom Armament, Hilco Disposal and Recycling, Chevrolet, and everybody here at Domino's TYJS and Michael D'Amico for putting on a great show, and again, everybody else here.
We appreciate it. Congratulations again, Ryan. Good run, good points night for you too as well. Coming home in the second. Congratulations again.
Thanks, man.
Change rear arrow.
Yes, sir. Now we have our third place finisher, Tanner Talrico. I tell you what, Tanner, you were up front most of the night. You started in 12th. I think you moved your way up to the top 10, top 5. Probably in the first 25 laps or so. I tell you what, you had a great race tonight. Tell us how you got up to the top 3, and if we had 10 more laps, could you have got the win, Tanner?
If I don't know, Danny was pretty quick. I don't know if I would have had anything for Danny, but I don't know. It's just for being a fixed setup, it sure felt like my car really hooked the white really, really well. I mean, I was just telling Scott in the interview room that I couldn't really run the top other than on restarts, but I could really run the bottom well, like deep into a run, and I really felt like we had big time long run speed. And to get up to the front, I mean, we short pitted on the first stop and picked up quite a few spots that way, but other than that, we were just conserving the whole entire race, and the spots kind of came to us. I really didn't push that hard.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Tanner. Maybe that's the secret that all these drivers need to learn, is not to push that hard, because if you were not pushing hard and you were in the top 3, 5, basically all race long, you came home third, and I believe you could have definitely got the win there, just depending on how things shook out, and you definitely put yourself in the position to win, and that's all you can ask for your team, for your crew chief, your spotter, your crew guys, all those pit stops. We had a lot of green flag runs tonight. I don't think you had any mistakes at all anywhere during the race. None of your pit crew had any kind of mistakes. You put yourself in position to win, and I can almost bet that you will definitely get a win here, and that's another great job tonight. Who do you want to thank for this third place finish?
I want to thank my team, Unleash Racing, my spotter, Thomas Axum. I want to thank Fox Racing Products for coming on board and helping me out in the real world a little bit, and coming on board and helping out in the sim world a little bit. Got to give a shout out to their new Fox Racing shocks line. I run them myself on a real car, and any of you short trackers out there that want to get a good set of shocks, go on out and grab yourself a pair. And my dad for helping me get a nice sim rig here over the winter. I really think that's helped my driving a lot over this last couple months.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, we did talk about you earlier in the race, and your real world racing experience. That obviously definitely helps out. Obviously, thanks to your dad. But you're the wheel man. You're behind that Fox Chevy SS, and I tell you what, you put on a show tonight. And like I said, it's not going to be long before you're going to be in Victory Lane. We are bringing some serious competition here in Domino's TYJ Top Shelf Cup Series, and that's my job, to make you guys in the position to where you're on the fast track to fast. That's our motto, and hopefully you're faster than you were 2 months ago when you first started here. And congratulations. We'll definitely talk to you over the weekend. We'll talk to you soon, Tanner.
Thank you, guys. You're phenomenal at what you do. Thanks for putting all this on.
Thank you, Tanner. And I'm going to let Andrew interview our winner tonight. That would be Scott Sanderson. Are you in there, Andy? I got you, Scott. Congratulations on dinner in Victory Lane. I tell you what, Scott, last time you raced, it did not work out like you wanted it to. Tonight, it did not maybe work out like you thought it would. But here you are in Victory Lane with the champagne pouring. Congratulations, Scott. Tell us how you got this win accomplished.
First off, it was an amazing pitch strategy call by one Mr. Tyler Stanley. He was honestly not even in the room. He doesn't even own teams, or he doesn't even own iRacing anymore. He was watching the broadcast at home. Probably the single best crew chief I've ever had. I mean, I've had several. So, I mean, hats off to him. And second key to winning this race was keeping it clean. And it was, I mean, parts of it were a wreck fest with this new aero package. This is my first race with the aero package on a 1.5 mile track, so it was a big learning curve for me. It was kind of speechless to say the least. And the third one was just to stay away from that 98 car. He's the one that took it away from me last week. So, I mean, it's just got to race smart, be patient, and try and keep it clean and know who you can run with and who you can't run with.
Yes, sir, Scott. I tell you what, I just mentioned earlier to Ryan A. Hill, it is my job to bring you guys some of the best competition you're going to find short of the Pro Series in iRacing. That's what I do every week, every couple of weeks, and you're going to see it next week or the next time you race. And Dave Washington is one of our greatest drivers. You're one of our newest greatest drivers. Congratulations on the win. But I tell you what, you're going to be finding some serious talent around you every single race you're in. And we do appreciate you being here. I wanted to ask you one quick question. This is a Crown Jewel event. You definitely won the $20. Thanks for being here. Who are you going to donate that money to, Scott Sanderson?
I think we're going to donate this one to the Folds of Honor Foundation. They do a lot for our veterans. I mean, there's tons and tons of foundations that support our veterans after they come home, and even just sending supplies to them while they're still out there serving our country. So I think Folds of Honor would be a good one. That's my main sponsor. Usually a little bit different paint scheme this week after the events of last race, but definitely have this paint scheme back for Talladega next week, and honoring the troops that really deserve to be honored, and officers, EMTs, firefighters, and all those guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Scott. I'll tell you what, like I've said many times, I'll say it again. We respect, honor, and appreciate from the bottom of our hearts here at Domino's TYJ Racing all past, present, and future military members, firefighters, police force, rescue personnel. I tell you what, this country would not be the greatest country in the world without those people defending us, taking care of us, and keeping us safe. So thank you, Scott, for being here. Congratulations on the win. I tell you what, we'll definitely see you in a couple of weeks. And I tell you what, that was an interesting finish, and I'm happy you're in Victory Lane.
Interesting to say the least. But thanks, Robert, for everything you do for this league, and All Pro Broadcasting for putting on a heck of a broadcast for the viewers at home, and ended up getting me a win with one of the viewers making a great call. So thanks for everyone that makes this possible.
Thank you, Scott. We'll talk to you soon. Andy, what last thoughts do you have for this race tonight?
Man, I'll tell you what, it was an awesome race. We knew strategy going in with the short pitting, some of the guys staying out a little bit longer than others. A lot of that, was going to come into play. And then, you know what, that final pit stop, under 10 laps to go, they came down to a two-tire call. Who would have thought that would have been the winning call? And exactly what happened for Scott Sanders right there was a two-tire call. Got him out to the lead, and he was able to hang on to it. It was going to be awfully close if they had to go around one more time under the green flag, but the caution fell just at the right time. And just like the circumstances that happened a couple weeks ago for him, it comes back, he keeps his nose clean, and he comes up with a victory. So it's going to be one of those guys you're going to have to keep an eye on week in and week out. And once again, you look at the top of the standings, you see guys like Ryan Hill, and you see him coming in with another top 3 finish. I mean, that's a guy you're going to have to keep an eye on too all season long, even especially when the chase comes.
Hey, I appreciate it, Andy. I've only got 10 fingers on both of my hands. Actually, 5 on each hand. 10 total.
You got a lot.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, I am absolutely almost speechless, which I never am, so I'm going to keep talking here. But I've got so many things that are just blowing my mind right now. We've got some of the greatest talent racing here in Domino's TYJ Racing. We got some of the greatest talent doing the camera work here with Michael D'Amico and all pro broadcasting fans. Make sure you click the subscribe, because you do not want to miss your chance to win a free pizza, which brings me to Jeff Hutchinson from Charlotte, North Carolina. I tell you what, he's a lucky guy to win the large 3-topping Domino's free pizza from his store down there in Charlotte. I think Charlotte's probably got about, 10 stores. I worked in a couple of different stores from 87 on. Anyway, long story short, that's one finger. Second finger, Andrew Kessler. Thank you so much for coming up and helping us out in the broadcast booth. You're an excellent talent. You got a lot of things going in your life, and your sacrifice to be here tonight to help me out, I will never be able to repay you, and hopefully you'll help me out in the future if I need it. I got to also thank Michael D'Amico. I tell you what, the fans here, I tell you what, we love you being here for the POWERTEK Power Solutions 250, and if you did not enjoy this race with the top shelf cup drivers, we had a couple of new guys leading most of the race. Comes down to a, like you said, Andy, a caution with pit stops. And then we had, some guys getting into each other, which I'm going to review and hand down some things if I need to, penalty-wise. But this has been an incredible race. So for Andy Kessler, Michael D'Amico, myself, Robert McCrollan, fans, thank you so much. Make sure you tune in. If you have not already clicked the subscribe button on All Pro Broadcasting, shame on you. Do it right now, because you do not want to miss the race Sunday night at 8:50 p.m. Eastern. It's a completely different animal, Andy. Tell us about the dirt.
Oh, God, the dirt is so much fun. I think it's one of the best things that iRacing has come up with in years, and it's a lot of fun to be out there to race it. It's a lot of fun to watch, too, watching these guys slide all over the place, different lanes to go in. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it puts on some great television, too, to watch, just seeing, what these guys can do with these cars, drifting them sideways through the corners, and the laps happen so quick. You're around that place, and any one of these dirt tracks, 12 to 15 seconds. I mean, it's like watching a Bristol race, except they're driving sideways half the time. So it's a lot of fun. You definitely don't want to miss that on Sunday night. So definitely tune in. Everybody out there that's watching now, you better be setting your alarm clocks for that one on Sunday night, because that's going to be a lot of fun. Once again, the second round for that Dirt Renegade series. So I'm looking forward to watching it. Should be a lot of fun, and I want to appreciate Robert having me on here tonight. It was a lot of fun, and anytime you guys need, I'll be glad to help out. These guys put on a great show, and it's a great race to call.
Thank you so much, Andy. Again, for Andy Kessler, Michael D'Amico, this is Robert McCrollan. Fans, make sure you tune in Sunday night, 8:50 p.m. Eastern. You'll see a whole different animal, and I can almost promise you, you will not be disappointed, and you might win a free pizza. Again, fans, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.
In the open road, life and death in my own hands. I am my own justice, I am my own man. I never look behind through all this.